Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about a company called Metsera, ticker MTSR. And Metsera is very similar to Viking Therapeutics, which I did a video on last week. I'd encourage you to watch, only because the thesis and the bull case that I'm making and will make for Metsera is nearly identical to Viking. So with that said, let's get started. Metsera, today the 28th of April, 2025, is trading for a little under 20 bucks a share, 2.4 billion market cap. And when you subtract the 600 million or so they have in cash, you're looking at about 1.8 billion for their entire pipeline, which is purely GLP-1 focused. What's really interesting about Metsera is they're about to enter a phase 2B, they're about to release data on a phase 2B that goes 28 weeks. So what I really liked about Viking is that Viking was showing placebo-adjusted weight loss of about 1% per week after 13 weeks. Metsera is taking that to the next level and will be showing data on 28 weeks in their phase 2B. In their phase 2A, they showed about 1% a week, very similar to Viking, with a smaller amount of cohorts. So what we'll be able to see is, after 28 weeks, will the drug plateau or will it stay at about 1% a week? If Metsera, this is the big if Metsera is able to show mid 20% weight loss on their highest dose, this will completely blow anything Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have on the market, which is Ozempic and Mounjaro. It will blow anything in their pipeline out of the water right now, today, right? It'll just completely destroy, even if they're able to market first and have the aggressive marketing war chest that they do have. In a head-to-head, Metsera should crush. So I'm not saying go out and run out and buy the stock. I'm just saying this is very interesting and very exciting, especially when we look at what Eli produced a few weeks ago with the data that the market said, okay, this is now worth $90 billion more than it was yesterday because of the A1C reductions that they were able to show. Focusing on Metsera, what I love about the 2B trial is, one, that they're going 28 weeks, and two, that one of the cohorts will be type 2 diabetic. So again, if we're able to see after 28 weeks significant weight loss in the 20% range and an A1C reduction that is greater than what Eli Lilly showed after, I believe it was 40 weeks, it topped out at 1.8%, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a game changer. And then I would argue either they're going to raise capital because the stock should pop, or they're going to find a suitor. I had a buddy mention, shout out to you, Mr. Dutch friend of mine, hey, you're leaving out Novo Nordisk and Eli as possible suitors. And it didn't even cross my mind that, yeah, why not throw them into the mix? Before I was saying, hey, it's going to be Pfizer or it'll be AbbVie for possible pickup on Viking. But at the end of the day, Novo or Eli could also pick one of these guys up simply to cannibalize their sales if they need to. Because right now, Eli is starting to whoop Novo's ass, and they're going to need something. So at the end, the thesis ultimately remains the same. If I were to theoretically split an investment dollar, I would probably go 60% Viking, 40% Metsera, where Metsera kind of picks up a little more oomph for me is that their phase 2B is 28 weeks. And so we will know a lot more, a lot sooner. We still don't know the length for Viking's trial. I'm certain they're going to probably have a cohort with type 2 diabetes so that they can show A1C, etc. But 28 weeks is an incredible length of time for the second generation that's coming out. So when we think of Ozempic and we think of Mounjaro as first generation GLP-1s that show, 10% weight loss after 50 weeks or whatever nonsense it is, these guys are a lot stronger. I'd liken it to an ad I saw today for a new EV Range Rover, right? Range Rover's like, oh yeah, check out our new electric vehicle. It has 52 miles of range. I'm like, oh my God, 52 miles? Are you kidding? Like, we're supposed to get excited about that? And that's Ozempic. 52 miles. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's neat. That would have been cool in, 2010. But now people expect a lot more. And I would say that lot more is what Viking and Metsera are. That lot more is, Range Rover having a battery of 400 miles, 500 miles, something you can actually do something with. So before I get totally sidetracked and go down a rabbit hole that will make me start a new video again, let's just stay on course and say that Metsera is very interesting. In conclusion, Metsera is very interesting primarily because of the 2B data. If we step back a year ago, when Viking released their phase 2 data, we saw the stock go from $25 and some change, or 30 and some change, up to 90, 95 and some change over a few days. Metsera is essentially going to be publishing data similar, except maybe more aggressive. Viking's was only 13 weeks. Metsera's 28. So why does Viking have a little bit higher market cap? I would argue because of their NASH drug. The street's giving some value there. I like Viking that much more than Metsera from an investment perspective because it is further along. At the end of the day, Viking is about to start a phase 3, which really matters. I only hope, and my fingers are crossed, that phase 3 is going to go significantly longer than 13 weeks. But there is going to be a lot that we can take from Metsera's 28 weeks that we will probably able to apply to Viking. And so this isn't supposed to be a video on Viking, but it's really just to help you understand where I'm coming from, where I think the market is missing. And hopefully when you're doing your own research, you can kind of see some similarities. So I'd encourage you to check them out. Again, the ticker is MTSR. I'd say they're significantly undervalued at where they are. And if they publish data anywhere near as interesting as Viking did a year ago, I don't see how the stock doesn't move at least 3 to 4x in 10 days. From there, they'll probably raise some cash. And the management team, lastly, the management team looks to execute. I was listening to a call that they had, and these guys are all ex-medicine company dudes. They sold to Novo in 2019, I think, for $9 billion and some change. They know what's up. So I have a lot of confidence in the management team. I love that they have some cash. They're in a field that is highly competitive, but clearly they are on the cutting edge of, I might even argue, on the brink of a third generation GLP-1, whereas Viking is solidly second generation. That's it. Hope you all have a great day. I'll be off for a while. Not like I make that many videos anyways, but yeah, peace.